I have leads.
That boy like Medea. Let's go, Medea.
Turnover by Lord. Blocked by Armstead. Two into the end zone. Caught for the touchdown! Caught for the touchdown! Waddle! Miami has taken the lead! That's what the I do!
It's your two favorite degenerates back with another Day One Dolphins podcast, once again hosted by your boy Ouch. Follow me on Twitter at YFinsYY. Here with me per usual, my fellow lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, Chief Sut. Please throw him a follow on Twitter at Chief Sut. Follow our podcast, Twitter at Day1 Dolphins. Stay up to date. Let's get down to it. What's going on, Sut?
I'm feeling pretty good, bro. I'm in the holiday spirit over here, dog. How you feeling? You sound a lot better from last time we spoke on the phone.
Definitely feeling better. That was, I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet it was one of those strains of COVID or something like that. It had your boy down for about 2 weeks. So
Coronavirus.
yeah, it was tough. And then I'm seeing like everybody I know is getting sick across the country. I'm playing daily fantasy basketball. You know what I mean? Like players are dropping and they're sick, not playing. Jalen Hurts is questionable with the flu. Like it's obviously going around. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's this time of year.
It's also one of my favorite times of the year because you don't have to just wear like shorts and t-shirts outside. Like I can actually wear like my sweatpants and like some of my hoodies and some more of my Dolphins gear. But I'm hoping it's not a repeat of last year on our holiday game. Our Black Friday game was fire. I'm excited for some redemption on our Crema game, or Crema Eve game, I should say.
Yeah, as far as the roller coaster goes, I mean, Tua came out, broke just about every Dan Marino record for a first half of a game. Just torched the Green Bay Packers over and over again last year. And then he bumped his head and, Humpty Dumpty fell apart baby. there. So we're hoping for anything other than that, yeah.
He's been so good about not falling and bumping his head this year. It's awesome.
He had a little highlight reel, I think, we could put together where he's rolling and sliding, and he did a little somersault in this Jets game.
That's my dude. That's my quarterback, man. He's doing what you need him to do every week, and I think it's a good time to talk about that clip with him going around right now that you were just playing.
The press conference,
buddy. That is literally my quarterback. He's said multiple times in these press conferences this year that he keeps receipts and he's listening, he's paying attention to y'all. But for him to just come out and be like, "Yep, I'm only good with Tyreek," cool. Yep, I'm only good with Jalen. Cool. Well, the narrative should be, I'm only good with Raheem. You know, da-da-da. I'm like, bro, yes. He's so sick of y'all just talking and talking and talking about him and making all these excuses as to why he's not good, instead of just for once acknowledging that he's pretty good.
I love that his life is so full of things to do and work, and he's got a second baby on the way, and he's coming in on his off days, and he's buying the whole team gifts, and he's always throwing parties at his house and cookouts at his house and inviting people over and extra film study and interviews and primetime interviews and, you know what I mean, all this hard knock stuff. And he's like, yeah, I don't really be looking at it, but you know, that's what Ann's for. It's like his social media or his PR person. He's like, yeah, Ann's the bearer of bad news. She just fills me in on whatever y'all are saying. So he just gets like a little quick rundown. Yeah, this idiot said this. You know, Skip Bayless said that. And he's like, all right, cool. So well, let's go out here and get the day going.
Yeah, she's the girl that's always walking with him, correct? The one that kind of went viral during camp. Yeah. Was it last year?
Because I memed her, because Tua was in the Versace shirt or whatever, and I memed her. She was looking at him.
I was using that one a lot. I just kept popping it up anytime he would say anything at a press conference or throw a nice ball. And like, yeah, but she seems like she loves not only her job, but she just loves being with the team. So shout out to you, Ann. Shout out to QB1, dude. Whatever it takes.
Real. Thanks, Ann.
Bro.
But to get to this Jets game, feelings in the beginning of it. I mean, you saw me kind of I even threw Adam Gase's name in there because I was just like, yo, this is an Adam Gase game plan. Like the first 12 plays, like 8 of them were screen passes. And I was like, what is going on here? And through the last couple of games, those are the plays. We've seen nothing but disaster, to be honest, with screen plays for the majority of the season. Tyreek got hurt on one. Tyreek had a fumble in the Chiefs game that shouldn't have been a fumble, but returned for a touchdown on one. So they just get blown up sometimes, and people do expect them out of our offense. So I just wasn't a fan of how often they were happening. Thinking about that, but obviously McDaniel knew better, right? I mean, it was for a reason.
You guys were melting down so hard, so fast. I'm like, bro, it's way too early for this. And I know we were all just still pretty like sore from the Monday night action. That was whack. We all know it was whack. And I think everybody was just expecting us to just come out bombing on them. But we eventually did bomb on them. And it didn't even take that long. I think him just working the underneath was just trying to throw something else out there that they might not maybe had been prepped up for, to try to get them to get up a little bit closer, to try to get them to play a little bit more physical. That way we can try to outspeed them and just outquick them a little bit. But I don't know what the game plan was. It obviously worked. I had a wedding, which it was awesome, but a Sunday wedding was wild. And I'm like setting up and also running the game in like my phone, in my headphones. And I checked the group chat and you guys are talking about Adam Gase and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna mute that for a little bit, get back to the game itself and my setup, and ended up being solid all the way across the board. I was happy with the production out of everybody. Everybody did well. Group chat calmed down by halftime. I checked in on everybody. They were doing okay. A couple guys made a couple dollars. So it was all right. But I was never really...
Yeah.
The only time I was really, really stressed out was seeing the injury report in the morning and seeing how many safeties we were down and how... I don't know. It just felt like key injuries at key positions, which, earlier in the year.
I felt gloom and doom, I'm not gonna lie, before the game started. Like, it just didn't feel good coming off that Titans loss versus what you would consider not a good team, and going to play the Jets, who just, say what you want about the Jets, but they play you like they hate you. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing you're gonna get out of them, is that they're gonna play you like they hate you. And it's not really an advantage when they're a team that really doesn't have much to play for, and they're playing dirty and they're hitting hard, and that's what they came to do, and it very much embodies what Robert Saleh, what you saw him kind of say in Hard Knocks in the beginning of the season, and how he's a violent guy. He don't want to win, he wants to hurt you. So I was a little bit worried when that injury report came out, and the injury report was like full of important players. It wasn't just like this guy that we knew was going to be hurt, or this guy that we knew wasn't going to participate in the game. It was like, oh cool, Xavier Howard's not playing, our starting corner. Oh, Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott aren't playing, our 2 starting safeties. We had just lost our starting linebacker and Jerome Baker prior. Robert Hunt, our best guard and second best offensive lineman, is not playing. There's
Liam.
That
Liam
wasn't even
Liam in the boot.
Yeah. Liam Eichenberg.
Your favorite offensive lineman on the team, baby.
I mean, part of me hates him, but like now he's been so humanized to me that I can't even hate him anymore. He's got a burner account on Twitter where he's like trying to defend himself, and I feel bad reading what he's saying because he's making good points, talking about, hey, he gets thrusted into a role that he's never played before.
Get off my meat.
And you expect him.
Yeah.
And then he's in a walking boot with a calf strain, goes into the game, plays the whole game, immediately comes off the field and goes back into a walking boot for his calf strain. So say what you will about the guy, but he sucked it up and was a man about it. You know what I mean? Like, he held it down. But
nah, he's been
proud
real,
of him.
man. He's had a really solid season, and I will say you were the first person to beat up on him. So for you to come around and be like, he's
The day literally, the day his measurements came out, I didn't even see the man take a rep in the pro setting yet.
You had immediately said, nope, not it. I believe we drafted him at tackle, didn't we? And you said he was going to be a guard.
I said he would never, ever last as an NFL tackle before, just so we're clear. And I was correct. He will never.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ask him to anymore. At this point, he handles almost 3 different positions inside, being a swing guard and backup center.
He attempts 3 different positions. I wouldn't say he handles them. I'd say he gives it his best shot.
You gonna go out there and handle it?
He gives an A for effort, and that's the only good thing you're getting out of Liam in this podcast from me.
Cool. So do you think he's playing any better than Lester Cotton?
I don't. That's a mean question to ask a human.
You know what
that's,
I mean?
That's a tough position to put somebody in there.
But come on.
I mean, Lester Cotton has his good reps and his good games, but he also does. He got blown up a couple times in this game.
Yeah. So looking at PFF, Lester was our lowest graded player, and Liam was second. Lester graded out with 33.8 and Liam with 35.8. So, I mean,
Jesus,
but
man.
Here's the cool thing. For Lester, his pass blocking graded out at 69.2. So, obviously, Big Lester dropping 69 on him is awesome. Liam's was only 25.1, bro.
Yeah, he's much worse in pass coverage than he is in pass blocking, than he is in the run block. And even in the run block, you know, it's not good. But this also, they weren't really attacking him, In
the run block, Liam grades out. Oh, my God. Again, you're trying to humanize them, and we don't want to poke fun. But he was higher than Lester with a 46.
I'm so far past having fun making jokes about it. Like, now I'm just like... It's like working at a terrible office job and having someone like drop another invoice on a stack of invoices, and you're just like, oh my God. Again. That's how I feel reading these.
Yeah. Bro, my boy Lester tried his hardest, but his run blocking graded out at a 30. So even with him grading out at 69 on pass blocking, and he pass blocked on 30 snaps, run block on 31, so it was pretty even. His run blocking was so bad, it made him the lower graded player out of the two of them on average.
It's insane.
That's just like... And Liam played 58 snaps. Lester played 61. It was only a 3 snap difference, so they basically both played the whole game.
I will say that prior to the season starting, we did talk about the best defensive lines in football, and the Jets were mentioned top 3. We talked about our defensive line, the Giants' defensive line, the Niners in the area code there, Philly, and the Jets. So it wasn't an easy defensive line to be facing, but this is probably why the game plan was what it was. We didn't try to like manhandle them with the run up the gut or even off the tackles that often. We were doing a lot of screen plays to kill that brush down, tire those big boys out and go left, go right, go left, go right, stretch the field as best we can horizontally until we finally get a little bit of a bite by the DBs and linebackers expecting us to continue to do that. Boom, play action. We'll just murder you with Jalen Waddle, even though DJ Reed had a 12-yard cushion.
Oh my God, that's art. That is just... There's just not a lot of people that could even pull that off, given that much cushion. Because you expect DJ Reed and Sauce to want to almost play bump and run and get up in your face and try to get physical with you a little bit more. And they've honestly done that. The last game, DJ Reed got a pick off Tyreek doing that. So you would think if he's giving cushion, it's going to be really, really, really tough to get over the top of him, let alone get over the top of him with separation. But Jalen did it so fast, bro. It didn't take him a 4 count, bro. Boom, boom. Quick little inside step just to open him. And then as soon as he opened him, he just took him over the top, bro. And there was nothing he could do. Like,
DJ Reed's trying to swipe out his feet early before the ball even goes there because he's beat so bad. He's trying to commit pass interference from laying down on his belly.
Swiper, no swiping. We'll see at the crib, bozo.
Exactly. Go sit down, take a seat. You were on Twitter last year arguing with fans about how you locked them down, about how you and Sauce were lockdown corners. You were telling the Miami fans on Twitter about that. When Skylar Thompson was the one throwing the ball. When Teddy Bridgewater was the one that got game reps all week, and a third string QB who had been in the league for 5 months. 5 months ago, he's playing at a dog school.
And bro.
And now you're an elite corner because you locked Tyreek and Jalen Waddle down because of that. Well, what about now? That's 2 games in a row. You got a touchdown dropped on your head.
Deep.
2 games in a row by Miami with Tua playing. Get body bagged.
And how are you going to give that much space? It's not like it was a 80-yard or 70-yard touchdown. That was basically a midfield throw. So you got beat that fast with technically not even that much field to cover. You gave up 12 yards of separation. So he basically cooked you for another 20 yards in 6 steps.
There was like
7 steps.
How many? Yeah, I was going to say how many steps, but
good night.
he had this little shifty double move real quick, boom, boom, and then he just went outside, bent it back inside.
It was barely even a double move. I wouldn't even consider it that because all he did was just give him just 1 foot inside. Just almost for the basketball gamblers and degenerates of the world. Make sure you guys get your Prizepicks codes from Ouch. It's in the bio. But just a 1 step, just jab step, almost just to get him to step like that. What do they call it? The you shot, where he just hits him with that little step back. He just gave him that inside and he kept it pushing. And oh man, bro, that was just beautiful footwork. My coaching side, my just love of the game side, every part of me was just so hyped up about that because it was so icy. There's not that many guys that can do that.
And then Tua comes out with the keep talking.
Talk to me, dog. What you talking about?
But yeah, that was a great. And as far as the game plan's concerned, you blow the top off the defense right there. Boom. So now you've been throwing screen passes behind the line of scrimmage all game, and then the second that they bite on it, you get abused over the top like that. So they're lost. They're looking in every direction like, man, we're getting beat in every facet of the game. And now you employ the run. Now you got Raheem coming out and starting to run and take some time off the clock, and it's just it was just the perfect game plan. Really.
And I know you didn't watch Hard Knocks yet, so I am going to spoil one thing for everybody that did.
I had to cover my ears.
But McDaniel pointed out that he called a bunch of bad plays and he didn't do his best in that Titans game, and he was going to do better this week. And the only 2 players that played all 61 snaps, big Rob Jones, a.k.a. Ouch's favorite guard outside of Liam Eichenberg, and big Lester. We had 30 pass block reps total that anybody could have played, and 31 run blocks. So that means 30 passes.
I actually like Robert Jones.
I feel like you and Zach have been very pro Rob Jones guys, big Bob Jones guys since camp.
No, yeah, he's so solid in the run block. You know what I mean? I just want you to be able to be reliable in one facet of the blocking scheme or the other. You need to either be good in a reliable pass blocker or a run blocker so that we know what we get out of you when you're on the field. We know that if, Teron's hurt and Robert Hunt is hurt, and then we put these 2 guys out there, well, at least we can run the ball this week. You know what I mean? At least these guys can move bodies. Yep. And that's what Robert Jones does, in my opinion.
So who goes to the bench when Robert Hunt comes back? Do you bench Jones or Cotton?
Cotton, and you're going to move Jones hopefully to the left, what's up with Kendall Lamb?
Kendall Lamb was getting reps. He played, honestly, it looks like he played a little bit more than Austin Jackson.
Yeah. So, I know he can move around too.
That's for T-Stead because obviously I'm only going to really count on T-Stead playing through injuries in the playoffs. But until then, I feel like we're willing to roll the dice.
He played a little bit of this game, didn't he?
But I still feel like they're willing to roll the dice and kind of give him rest when it's necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he played the exact same amount of snaps as Tua.
Okay, so he didn't play the fourth quarter. Tua leads the NFL in passing yards despite being pulled in the fourth quarter in about 4 games.
Isn't that my quarterback, dude?
It's whatever, and you might think that, well, if they pass the ball, surely they couldn't be running the ball that much. Raheem's top 5 in rushing yards and leads the league in touchdowns.
Well, if Tua was such an MVP, he should have more touchdowns with that offense. We literally have a dude with 20 total touchdowns right now.
And Tua still has 25 or something.
Without playing most of the fourth quarters. This is literally like us running it up like a high school team. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah. That Jets bloodbath was exactly what they needed. There was some hate in their hearts coming into that one. You could tell, especially the Chubbman. Bradley, don't call me Nick Chubb.
He went crazy, and we've been defending Bradley Chubb on this podcast for, I don't know, more than one season now, especially me, and talks about, you get a good perspective rather of what the people on Twitter, what the other fans or allegedly fans think about other members of the team. You got about 1,000 people who just have Tua profile pictures, and all they care about is arguing whether Tua had a good game or not after the game. And then if there's ever a rep caught on film of one Miami Dolphins player having one single bad play, then that's going to form the narrative of the week of how they're bad. And that happened with Bradley Chubb multiple times this season. Man, people kind of wrote him off, and we're done with him. And now, what were you saying his stat line is on the year?
He's got 9.5 sacks to go with 6 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries.
6 forced fumbles is ridiculous.
And he's going to obviously hit double-digit sacks. He's going to get another half a sack over these next few games.
He's still got 3 games to go.
Bro, you said they tried to write him off. In the words of a wise man, they tried to write Bradley Chubb off, but he didn't write back, dog.
Yeah, Geno Smith said that.
And look at how he's feeling the other guy over there, man. I love Drew Lock. I love Pete Carroll. Completely up to him.
Drew Lock almost cried. That was an emotional moment for him. That was a nice game. I don't know if you guys saw that on what was that?
That was Monday night.
So that would have been this Monday Night Football. Yeah, it was the Eagles Seahawks, and I think we can all say we're all a little happy to see the Eagles lose a third one in a row, right? Everyone except for Eagles fans is okay with that.
I think it's hot. I love it.
It's pretty cool. And for it to be Drew Lock to do it, humble those guys a little bit. Beat a winning team and then let's talk. Yeah, well, how's it feel losing to the Seahawks, big dog? Well, Drew Lock and the Seahawks.
What was this? The Jeezy one he was bumping when he was with Denver. That's all I think of when I see him.
Oh yeah,
he's a good. Yeah, now he's putting that shit on him real quick. I like the Drew Lock swag. I think this is the time of the year where that division typically implodes after. Most of the season, everyone just kind of crowns it as like one of the toughest divisions in football and all that crap. But again, this is the time of the year where they start to slide, and you're seeing them going on a 3-game slide. Dallas might be on their way to doing the same thing.
Oh, I hope so. But they did just get done. They're part of the slide from Philly. They beat the lights out of Philly. So that was part of the Eagles' loss trend here was due to Dallas. Yep. So Dallas is on a roller coaster here. We won't get into Dallas yet. Let's finish this Jets.
We just got so sidetracked with the Eagles thing. I feel like I had to stab it in there, but
no worries. You're right. But I just wanted to I didn't want to not mention the fact that Andrew Van Ginkel broke his nose in the first quarter, stuffed paper towels or whatever into his nostrils, and then continued to play and abuse the hell out of Billy Turner all game.
So I have a very tough question for you based off of that. Who is more of a great American hero? Van Ginkel or Sealer? Just an all-American man's man.
Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel, God, man. I love Zach Sealer.
They're both great, but Van Ginkel, that's like almost what you expect from the Midwestern, soft-spoken, semi kind of crazy white boys. Like if he would have broke a finger, he would have kind of snapped it back in and not told the trainer. Maybe just got some tape,
Man, we talked about how he grew up in a town with like no people. I don't know what it was, like 15,000 people, 10,000 people, 3,000 people. I don't know. It was in the middle of nowhere, like straight farm, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't know if he was going to make it in the league, you know, but really like came from just about nowhere. Their stories are a little bit different. Zach Sealer to me is more like, you know, he was on the Ravens practice squad, I believe, and got poached from there. Couldn't make the team.
He got cut in season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he cut
in season.
And that was his rookie year as well as Wilkins' rookie year.
But the difference is that Wilkins is a certified stud coming from a major school with one of the best defensive line programs of the year, where everyone in that defensive line room gets drafted in the first round out of Clemson. Sir. And this dude, Zach Sealer, was living in an RV in front of Miami's facility, unsure if what was to come with his life. You know what I mean? So
I was living in the woods, big chilling. That's why I'm saying, like, if I was going camping, I would love to have both of them out there with me to go chop some wood and just go fishing and just do man things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe for you, but you know, I'll be doing that on my own. So.
Yeah, but like, bro,
they're welcome to come, but you know, if you need some help, I got you.
I'm trying to chill with Sealer and Big Ginks, dog. We'll get to the quarterback, bro. They're just so crafty with you look at both of them specifically. You're looking at guys that weren't really highly recruited out of high school either. I believe Sealer was a walk-on in college, and neither one of them. I mean, Van Ginkel, we drafted him in the 5th round, and he's on his 3rd
or 5th,
somewhere around there. He's on his 2nd contract with us. He's gonna get a 3rd. Sealer, I mean, bro, you have guys like that, and you stack that on top of adding a Jalen Ramsey, adding a Bradley Chubb, having depth with a guy like Duke Riley just kind of stepping in when it really, really felt like the Jerome injury was going to kill us. And this is the kind of game where you would expect Breece Hall, Michael Carter, whoever else they like to run the ball with over there. You almost felt like they were going to go right at Duke. And if that was the game plan, it didn't work because he played very well, very solid.
No, that was the best case scenario for us to get ahead, force that offense to have to pass the ball and not be able to rely on that smash mouth football. You know, we're built to do that. We're built to be ahead. You know, it's the games we're built to be able to come back too, but to comfortably win, you know, to be ahead and just be able to run the ball successfully is the ideal situation, I think, for Miami.
Right. Absolutely. And
which brings us to this next game. The Fraud Bowl, you might say.
America's team versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I hate when people call them America's team.
There's no way with... Just go ahead and look at social media impressions if you want to take it there, since we live in a social media-based world nowadays. There's not a team that's getting the hype and at least the love from the streets like Coach McDaniel and the boys are getting right now. So I feel like either it's the Hard Knocks effect, it's just the big play, splash offense, it's cheetah, whatever it might be. But I definitely think we're leaning towards being more of America's team than quite a few of these other teams in the league. They kind of wanted it to be Philly, and they're falling off a little bit. People kind of like the Niners, but for the most part, they kind of don't, especially over here.
I think. I mean, yeah, you're on the opposite side of the map. There's plenty of Niners love over here, but I do think the Niners are probably the best team in the NFL. That's
not what I'm saying. I'm saying America's team. You don't got to be the best team to be America's team.
America's team is probably the Patriots for me. Like, they're literally called the Patriots, but Cowboys have forced it. You know, as far as the Miami Dolphins go, we are polarizing, is what I would say. We have a quarterback who 50% of everyone hates and 50% of everyone loves, and there's not much in between. We have a wide receiver who's very, very easy to hate and easy to like, depending on which side of, the opinion you fall on.
Which side of the Confederate
And then we have Mike
flag.
McDaniel, who I think, what'd you say?
Depends on what side of the Confederate flag you're on.
Yeah, that, or, some people will look at only negative things when judging a player, to make it easier on themselves because they wanted to hate them to begin with. But McDaniel, same thing. Some people were like, he's a genius. Some people were like, look at this little nerd. I hate him. I just want to punch him in the face. It's whatever. I just think we're a polarizing team to where it's very one or the other. We're not a team that like everyone watches and is like, oh, I love them. It's a team that either they really want to see us do well or they really, really, really get off on wanting to see us fail. So
who do you think could cause us to fail this week, if anybody can, over there in Dallas?
Micah Parsons, without a doubt, Micah Parsons. And I know we get the ball out quick. I know that the game plan is going to be to not allow him to destroy the game, but we talked about it in the Raiders game. We talk about it time to time when we play, a good team. We talked about it last year versus the Niners. When there's a pass rusher that you could, that qualifies as what you would call a game changer, a game wrecker, a person who one man can change the outcome of the entire game with a handful of snaps. It's him. Mm-hmm. That's the guy. So, you got to scheme accordingly, right?
Yeah.
What do you try to do if you're Mike McDaniel and you don't want Micah Parsons to ruin the game?
The first thing I'm going to try is just try to do the one-on-one and ask Teron to just erase him as much as I can. And if that's not going to work, okay, well, we'll have a guard maybe there to help Chip, but I don't want to get too healthy with the double teaming him in that manner, because then, Dan Quinn's a very good defensive coordinator. He's going to send some crazy stunts right underneath that. So I would lean more on the side of chip him with Durham, chip him with Julian Hill, chip him with Jeff Wilson. We get Chris Brooks back, so if he's activated to the actual roster, have him just help chip in the backfield a little bit more. But whatever you can do, because, Tua gets it out in 2.4. Micah gets there in 2.4. So if we need an extra 2.3, just having the running back stick his nose at him and just pop him up a little bit, that's enough. We don't need somebody to just grab him one-on-one and just hold it up. We might not be able to hit as many of our crazy explosion ones, but at the same time, we might. Because if they're running, almost like a press, like a lot of teams like to run on us and force something deep and expect their pass rush to get there, and the pass rush don't get there, well, we've seen at least 15 times this season where that takes the top off the defense and all you can do is pray. It's like trying to stop LeBron and D-Wade on a fast break. Like you just can't do it.
Hopefully we get some injuries returning here. Hopefully Javon Holland's able to play. Hopefully Xavier Howard's able to play. Hopefully Deshaun Elliott, who I assume all three of them will be able to play. There might be Xavier Howard could take another game off, and Javon could take another game off. Definitely expecting Deshaun Elliott to play, but it looks like the over under the game's 50 points, so they're expecting a nice little game. The Dolphins are favored only by 1.5 because they're at home, so it's a fairly 50-50 match. You got two 10-4 teams who are considered fraudulent because they haven't beaten a team over 500, either one of them, except for the Cowboys just beat the Eagles divisional game. And then, technically we beat the Broncos who are above 500, and there's whatever. It's still, that's the perspective. That's the narrative of these two teams. It's the narrative of the game. Both quarterbacks have been talked about as MVP favorites at any point in the season, and both of them have pretty much blown their chances at it. Dak just did it this last game. So Cowboys are coming off a certified ass whooping here. You know what I mean? They got beat badly by the Bills. Bad
after they beat a division rival really bad, which is just as bipolar and crackheady as us.
I mean, they're not as good away. Like I was saying, they're 3-4 on the road. Miami's 6-1 at home. The only loss was that fluke dumb game to the Titans, or else we'd be 7-0 at home. But talking about, the way that the Cowboys chose to play the Bills, it was similar to the way that the Denver Broncos played the Dolphins, where they were daring you to run the ball after watching all the film and seeing the way that you're airing the ball out, much like the Bills do, much like Josh Allen has the capability of doing. extending a play, escaping the pocket, letting things develop that are more improvised with him and Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, whoever's out there. But that's not what they did. Josh Allen completed 7 passes for less than 100 yards. James Cook went crazy. That's your boy, right?
That's my boy.
I mean, you love him. I mean, I did want to draft him. He was, when I did my mock draft, he was the only name. I just wrote one name, and it was James Cook.
I just wanted to get that clear while you're claiming that is my boy, because that is your boy. You are a big fan of the Cook brothers and everything that they've brought to football.
The only Cook brother that I caved for was James. All right.
You were. I don't know. I don't think you would have been mad if we would have made the Dalvin move, but
I would have been mad today.
Yeah, see,
I know
that. But that's just a kind of a case. I know people give McDermott a lot of crap, but maybe that was more Joe Brady just actually taking what a defense gives you, even though everybody talks about doing that. They literally said, all right, well, if you guys want to line it up like this, I will not throw the ball. I will run it over and over and over again and keep hitting these edges and running it at Micah, not passing it and trying to run around him and try to be cute. Like, if you guys want to play it like this, we'll play it like this. And they just stuck with it. And it, like you said, it is similar to what we did in Denver, because they wanted to give us that. They got pulverized for almost 400 rushing yards. Like,
yeah,
that was not even
It makes
real.
me sad. I'm sad that the Cowboys did that they tried that with the Bills this game, because we were 7 days away from, maybe being able to just shut it down exactly like the Bills did. I imagine that if the Cowboys played us with the game plan that they played the Bills, that it would have been a monster blowout the same way for Miami. They just had this ugly 5-1 front being run over and over again, daring Josh Allen and company to run the ball. They did. Obviously, they didn't pass very much at all, which is unique. And like you said, Joe Brady comes in, takes over for the offensive coordinator position in Buffalo. And immediately it looks like Josh Allen isn't being a superhero. It looks like, hey, you can trust other players on the team. You don't have to win everything by yourself. Very Cam Newton-esque style of ball that he plays. You know what I mean? Like he constantly, if things aren't looking good, will just, do it himself kind of guy. And it works because he's a decent player. Like, obviously in that fashion, he's a star,
Yep.
Like that's what he does. But you'll see that is also the double-edged sword that gets him into trouble and loses games. That's how he throws 4 picks against the Jets, because he tries to be superhero Josh Allen, and it just doesn't always work out for him, even though it looks beautiful and he makes miraculous things happen for the team. Sometimes it would have been better if you would have employed a more conservative, spread out, team oriented approach.
He thinks he can do these things and he just can't, Nemo.
Sometimes he can, sometimes he can't, so he doesn't even know when to. But obviously they made a conscious effort to make it a team oriented win, and it worked. You can't run 6-man boxes against a team that can actually run the ball.
And what I'm visualizing is they gave James Cook the ball 25 times straight up. So I've talked about it a million times. We need Raheem getting at least 20 to 21 carries for me to sleep well that night. So
if we see them line up in this 3-3-5 stupid look again, like they did versus the Bills, you're going to see a lot of Raheem and a lot of Devon Achane. Yep. But I don't think Dan Quinn is going to make the mistake again, which is why I said I was sad that it wasn't us that got the opportunity to blow the doors off them, because they should have been scared about us throwing the ball just like they are of the Bills. Similar air raid offense, or not air raid, but similar air yard offenses.
And looking at how the Cowboys offense did, I mean, the Bills defense is obviously really good, but the first person that usually pops up in people's minds thinking of Cowboys, if they're not thinking about Dak, CeeDee Lamb is an absolute weapon. Yeah, he got 10 targets. He only caught 7 of them for 53 yards. And again, that's a good Bills secondary, but that secondary is not as good as ours if healthy. And
they just did a good job at taking the ball away possession-wise.
That rush was really, really getting there. And again, that's a good Bills rush. But if Bradley Chubb plays like how he just played, along with Sealer and Wilkins, is our front seven any worse than Buffalo's? Like,
I would say it's better.
I don't want to start putting that voodoo out there, Ricky Bobby, but I feel the same way.
Based on the injuries, they have injuries too.
Yeah. Yeah. And our depth is stepping up.
Zach Martin went out.
Oh yeah, that's
during the
tough.
game. Like, that's probably their best offensive lineman at guard.
Yeah. Biadaz is very solid.
The guy that came in.
Very solid center.
Yep. And they just abused him, and it made it hard for them. But they had a couple it was a rainy game. They turned the ball over a couple times, and then the Bills just got right back to running it. So it was like the Bills got a lot of good, timely possessions out of their mistakes, and they just kept running the ball, and Dan Quinn kept running these stupid looks, and they just kept running the ball, and that's how you win a game with Josh Allen completing 7 passes.
And that's what you give him the game ball for.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just absolutely disgusting. And if I'm James Cook, I can't wait to get out of this stupid, toxic locker room that just jacks off this overrated. It's just so aggravating. I'm just tired of it. I can't wait to see them not make the playoffs. I'm sticking to my guns. When we play them, that will be a Mike White game. Christian will probably still play because he's a freak. But I'm just so tired of them. I'm honestly disappointed, like you said, that Dallas, their defense just came out and ran that and it didn't work. I was really hoping that they came out and just did whatever they wanted and just beat the piss out of the Bills. That way they would have, put the Bills down 1, and they would have came into us a little bit overconfident. They're not going to come into us overconfident after getting humbled like that. So it might be a little bit, It's going to be a little bit scrappier of a game that I might have wanted. But I do think with our secondary, I think with Jalen Ramsey, I think with whether we have X or not, if Holland's back, this is going to be a pick fest. Pause. I think. I don't know. Pick fest is okay.
What's funny is I have a Cowboys fan in my longtime friends fantasy chat, and he's the one that pauses everything. You can't say nothing around him. But
as a Cowboys fan, you got to watch yourself with those.
Yeah, for sure. He's a stickler. Pause. But this one means a lot to me as far as like wanting to lay it on, thick for, one of your friends' teams or whatever. The last time that the Dolphins played the Cowboys, do you recall?
What was it, like 2003 or something like that?
No, we play the same team every 4 years, but minimum.
Okay, 2003 was the last time we beat them.
Oh, okay, I don't know about that, but I remember the last time we played them, and it was 2019, tank year.
See, I erased most of that.
Yeah, so they come into town. They were the second team that played us after the Ravens, I believe. Dak comes in, perfect quarterback rating. That starts the hype train of the season for Dak that he's just going to win MVP, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. That was right in the middle of the teardown. I do remember that.
Yep.
The game I'm thinking of was the Jason Taylor. He had either it was a fumble recovery or an interception return, and he hit like the Jordan pose really awkwardly when he crossed the end zone.
Oh yeah.
God, I love Jason Taylor.
I remember that.
But
I miss him. I hate his sister.
Yeah, golly, we don't need to go there. But I think this is going to be really good vengeance for anybody that was still around on that team, and I think that would be Xavier Howard. I think he would like to get 1 or 2 on Dak, and I think he's the perfect cornerback to get 1 on Dak. Because the times when he starts, from at least what I've seen, I'm not going to act like a Dak expert, but when he starts to get comfortable and he starts to get warmed up, Cowboys fans will all start to kind of joke, okay, here comes the interceptions, because he's going to start getting lazy and start getting, almost overconfident. And there goes the first one. And then a couple incompletions, maybe hits a big one to CD, and then another interception. So if we grab one early, especially with the pass rush getting after him, it's gonna be a long day for him. That's what I want for Christmas. I want a whole bunch of pressure on Dak Prescott. Give me 3 or 4 sacks with 3 or 4 picks. Give me a 400 plus 2 a game in 3 quarters, and let's go open some presents.
I mean, hopefully Dak's played a little bit better this year as far as ball safety is concerned, but he, has only eclipsed 300 yards like 3 or 4 times in the season. Threw for like less than 200 versus the Giants in a blowout win. Threw for less than barely 150 versus the loss for San Francisco, which was a straight ass whooping. Didn't touch 300 versus the Chargers in a 3-point win.
I will say, as a 10-4 team, I don't think that's a fair metric. We're also talking about Tua. Pre-show, we were talking, he's basically averaging about 220 a week now, and that's basically what you expect.
We're talking the Chargers. We're talking about a team that just let the Raiders put 63 points on them. Dak threw for 272 points and won by 3 points. I mean,
we only beat them by 2.
That's true, but we dropped 38 or what on them?
Yeah, and Tua dropped 466.
Yeah, so
that's our quarterback.
All I know is Tua's going to throw for more than 134 yards versus the Bills, win or lose.
Do we get Kevin Harlan this week?
I hope so.
God, I need some of that juice in my life. That's the other thing I want for Christmas. Kevin Harlan just ripping a good. He's got Hill. He's got Waddle.
I hope they play. We didn't even talk about Tyreek Hill not playing, but it was obvious Tyreek Hill did not play in the Jets game. I think he'll be back.
I feel like it was natural for us not to, because every single media outlet in media, that's all they talked about all week. And we kind of just sidestepped that because it wasn't something that we needed to concern ourselves with. McDaniel handled
because some of us watched this offense without Tyreek Hill
all the time.
We watched Tua without Tyreek Hill. We watched Jalen Waddle get the most receptions in the NFL because there was no Tyreek Hill. So we know what they're capable of. We know what the deal is. But the game obviously for the Jets didn't go the way that we thought. I'm looking at the schedule prediction, which we did preseason, and you had us winning 7-10.
Defense,
and I had us losing.
Baby.
I had us losing 24-21. Now, granted, we both thought that Aaron Rodgers would be a part of this game here, but one of us did predict the Titans beating us.
I said it last episode in your absence. I brought it up.
I saw. I just need to say it myself, so everyone knows at home. But as far as the Cowboys game goes, I had it as 28-20 Miami. You had it as 21-17 Miami with an asterisk that says 4 interceptions.
You didn't have... No, you had us losing this one.
Nope. Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. I did, actually. 28-20 Cowboys win.
Yeah, you had us on a 3-game slide right now.
It's a believable 3-game slide. I was just off by 1, right, buddy?
Yeah, just about. But, yeah.
It was a believable 3-game slide. If the Ravens sub out the Jets for the Ravens game, and we might be there, so... It's getting choppy, man. So I guess I predicted the Cowboys to win 28-20. You predicted us to win 21-17 with 4 interceptions on Dak. So look for those 4 interceptions at home. I'm sure that's what's going to happen.
I love it. I think honestly we might get him for more. But if Zach Martin doesn't play and we get one of those, I guess you would call it liabilities, where we can just immediately attack that, it could really free some stuff up for us. I feel like Fangio is really dialed in with his personnel, and almost everybody involved with the defense has kind of got a full understanding of it, or at least of enough of an understanding of it that they can jump into different spots. And it's just given us so much flexibility. It's awesome.
I just want it to be the end. We'll end it on this. It's the Fraud Bowl. It's 2 10-win teams that have the majority of their wins, for our case, Miami, all of our wins, teams against teams that have a losing record, right? Go out there and just make it a convincing win versus another 10-win team, versus a contender, versus a team that's competing for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Do it. You know what I mean? And let's be done with it. Otherwise, you're going to go against another fraudulent team that gets smoked in the first round of the playoffs every year and loses to good teams and only beats bad teams and plays in a weak division, beats up on weak divisional opponents to bolster their record every year. Right? That's the narrative of the Cowboys. And you're going to, if you lose to them, all hell's going to break loose, man. You know what I mean? So
yep. I'm not worried about it.
They lose on the road, you win at home. It should be easy.
Let's just do it. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Make sure to use my gambling codes. It helps afford my addiction. And until next week, make sure you follow me on Twitter at YFinsYY. Follow Chief Sut at Chief Sut. Follow the podcast Twitter at Day1 Dolphins.
And Twitter win. We back for Christmas.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami